The xGody comes in a cheap box, and after a while you will find out that the GPS and DVR is much cheaper than this box. In the box is all you don't need: the device, data and power cable, the rear camera and a 15 meters cord to connect the back cam to the device. In our first review you can check out the poor video quality of the DVR. In this second part you can check out the rest of the xGody's poor quality. You can skip the printed manual. Setup of the xGody is easy without it. In the box is some more paper that shows you how to mount the rear camera. You have to screw in the suction pad. That isn't great. This device needs clearly another mount. Rotatability looks great, but it isn't. After mounting the GPS to your windshield you immediately miss the rotation to a third axis. That is no issue when you are using the xGody in a truck or mobile home with a plain windshield, but it can be a big issue when using the xGody in passenger cars. The suction pad cannot be mounted to all areas of a curved windshield. Even after mounting it very carefully, the xGody often fell off. It took a long time to mount the xGody properly, and after that you have a long time to wait. Starting the Android system takes up to 1 minute. Starting the iGo navigation software needs often more than 3 minutes. Annoying, isn't it? xGody's display looks great. Because we parked the car for this video in the shade, we bought the xGody in winter. The first months its display performed good. It was dark at day and night by the time when we were using the xGody. In the first sunlight of 2019 the display was unreadable. You can see example images of the unreadable display at the end of this video. The xGody worked good for 4 weeks, then it failed often and week by week, and soon day by day it failed much more. First the front cam stopped suddenly recording. A nearly unreadable message was displayed. Unfortunately the DVR has stopped. After 5 weeks navigation often was not possible. The xGody displayed the message, looking for GPS signal. First the GPS signal was not found on slightly cloudy days. Within a week navigation didn't work at all on 3 days. March 30th was a sunny day. After 1.5 hours xGody's navigation stopped for the rest of this day and didn't start next day. The third day the navigation started and stopped within minutes, and the message, looking for GPS signal, was displayed. Since March 30th, 2 months after buying it, the xGody had everyday failures and problems. We made resets, and after all resets the xGody worked as bad as before. Since mid of April, 3 months after buying it, the xGody is almost every time out of order. There are some more unfunctional features. The suction pad has a big diameter. This is great for plain windshields. In passenger cars with curved windshields it can be hard to find a mounting point. In our 2 Mercedes the xGody must be mounted in a very high position, otherwise the dash cam points to the dashboard and not to the street, or the device falls off because the suction pad gets loose. This is our last use of the xGody. April the 28th the xGody worked for some hours after it had stopped some days before. The DVR catched this trolley, and some minutes after the xGody was out of order for hours. As we drove home the xGody suddenly worked a while and stopped again. Finally the xGody didn't work for a week. It started and stopped soon after starting the GPS and the DVR. We decided to drop this device and sell it on eBay. Perhaps someone else finds his ways with the xGody. The joints of the mount are not sturdy enough. Nearly every day the horizontal joints get loose and suddenly the xGody swivels and curves of the road to the left or to the right. The mount isn't stable enough when touching the menu. After some touches the mount can get loose or the xGody swivels when touching the display. The xGody has a lot of functions and the menu is very easy to use, but even the menu has some disadvantages. In most of the menus there is always a back or home button, but in some menus there is no home button and when you hit the back button it does not switch back but in another menu without home button. In the first week our xGody started with the main menu. From main menu you can go to the navigation software, set a route and choose the destination. Since the second week of use the xGody started with the dash cam. In this case you can see what you are currently watching, the street in front of your car. We didn't make changes to the settings. Nonetheless the xGody started from now and until we sold it every time with the dash cam. That is time consuming. To set a route or destination you have to hit the home button, then the app button, at last the iGo button to start the navigation app. In the first week the Lavisoft software for navigation started fast. Since the second week this app needed up to 3 minutes to start. In our first review of the xGody we focused on its video quality. The video and photo quality of the front cam isn't great. It can be much more worse than the footage you are currently watching. To check out the poor video quality go to our channel and playlists, or search YouTube for xGody GPS and DVR 7-inch video quality. You can also use the link in the description. We presume that the chips, software and processor of the xGody are the same as in a lot of other cheap Chinese stuff, for example cheap action cams and cheap smartphones. The xGody video and image quality looks the same as the quality of a cheap Chinese action cam, a cheap replication of the GoPro. We saw the same poor video and image quality in 2013 produced by a cheap video cam and it might be possible that today in cheap cams they are still using very old hardware made in the HD Stone Age. We only used an English voice with the xGody, a female Chinese voice with a strong Chinese accent. The voice isn't perfect but understandable. Sometimes the articulation sounds strange. Go to the right sounds like go to the right with a leading W. Got the left sounds like got to the lot. We had a lot of fun with it. After some days Carl said always, okay, we have to go to the brother's right and then to laugh about something. Nevertheless the wrong pronunciation is acceptable. The time delay of the xGody's speaking is unacceptable. At junctions the hints go to the left or go the right came always too late. Sometimes the hints came after the turns. Nerve-wracking is the route calculation and you are over the speed limit. If you can't take the calculated route because there is a road construction, detour or something else the xGody voice annoys within seconds with voice bombing. Route calculation, route calculation, route calculation. Your detour is in a speed limited zone. The xGody turned out to be a blabbermouth. Route calculation, you are over the speed limit. Route calculation, make a U-turn. Route calculation, take next right. Route calculation, you are over the speed limit. Route calculation, route calculation. Okay, the hint route calculation makes some sense. It tells you that you are on the wrong way, but this hint comes much too often. Mostly you are not over the speed limit when xGody tells you that. On rural streets xGody's speed limit control very often fails. It fails in speed-limited areas, too. We have used the xGody on German streets only. In Germany speed limits of 30 and 50 km per hour are common. The xGody isn't able to locate the speed limit zones exactly. It jabbers you are over the speed limit when you are driving 28 or 29 in a 30 zone. It burbles you are over the speed limit when you just have passed the 50 zone and are in the rural 70 zone. Much more inaccurate are the speed limits on German highways. Within 3 months the xGody very often told us that we are over the speed limit where no limit is. It told us false speed limits for German highways where speed limits are or no speed limit is. Following the description of the seller who sold this junk the xGody is able to advise traffic jams. We never found out how this shall work. Do we need a not installed app or what else? However, The most important highway in our area is being under reconstruction since more than 3 years on a distance of more than 10 kilometers. The xGody always recommended this highway as fastest connection to other towns even when the highway was closed 3 days for a new bridge construction, and also when this highway tied up into a traffic jam. The lesson is clear. This is a device to waste money and time. Your smartphone can navigate better, and every old TomTom or Garmin performs the same or much better as the xGody.